Hello and welcome everyone. I am architect Nishitha and I am back with a new live session. And this time we are going to talk about a new topic, that is building materials. So we'll be discussing various building materials that can be used in architecture, interiors, or you can say construction industry in general. Now this topic, building materials, is a really important part of JEE paper 2 and NATA. And we observed that in 2024, many questions were asked on the basis of building materials topic only. And there were questions related to the characteristics of these materials. There were questions related to famous buildings where they asked which material has been used in so and so building, or there was simply a picture of the material that was put up in the question, and you had to identify the material just by looking at the visuals. So this will be a very important live session. So stay tuned and remain in the live till the end to know all the different major building materials that we'll be discussing in this half an hour session. I am architect Nishtha Joshi. I am an alumnus of SPA Bhopal and I'm a conservation architect from India. I work as a consultant for Archaeological Survey of India and UNESCO because I work with heritage monuments. And I'm also a faculty of architectural awareness at THiNC Institute of Design. I'm sure a lot of you already know me because you've seen my live sessions before as well. So today I have brought a very interesting topic, a really informative one, and I'm sure that you're going to learn a lot of new things in today's live session. So let's start with this discussion. So let's understand, what do you mean by building materials? We have used this term multiple times. You might have also read it somewhere. What is the exact definition? So any material which is used in construction of residential, commercial, industrial, or any other type of building or structure is known as building material, with which you can construct something. It can be a building or a structure like dam, a bridge, or anything else. All are considered as building materials. Then, how do you select which material can be used in a particular place? You might be knowing that there are so many different building materials that are found globally. So, how do you decide which building material you will use in a particular place or in your project? So, choice of building material depends on multiple factors. First one being the nature and size of building, the design of building, then the intended purposes that are going to be a crucial part in building design, availability of resources in the vicinity, meaning what local materials are available around you, and of course, location, the geography in which you are constructing a building, because geography, topography, climate, all of these things play a very important role in how the design of a building will be and how comfortable or uncomfortable a person will be inside a building. So, materials play a very important role in maintaining thermal comfort inside buildings. And now, since we know that what are the factors on which building materials are decided, you need to know that building materials are classified into two major categories. There are a lot of other sub-typologies as well, but two major ones are natural material and synthetic material. As the name suggests, you can understand that natural materials are the ones that are procured from nature. These are organic materials and you find them in the nature in a raw state. Maybe after a little processing, you can use these materials to construct different types of structures. And the other one is synthetic material. The synthetic material, of course, will be man-made. It will be produced in factories or industries, and it will be made in a certain composition to suit different climates or different, geographies, and so that it can be used in construction of buildings, structures, even furniture for that matter, like in carpentry or as a replacement of carpentry or wood, actually. So now you know what these two terms mean. I'm sure there are many different materials that are crossing your mind right now. So can you name any such materials in the comments? Which one do you think are natural materials? Name some natural materials for me and some synthetic materials. Leave your answers in the comment so that I can check it later on. So let's move to our first building material, that is a natural material, that is mud or clay. It is one of the most common materials that is used in vernacular architecture. Vernacular architecture is a term that is related to the local architecture of any place. So the kind of buildings that you will find in rural areas, in villages, or the most interior parts of any region. The kind of buildings, the kind of structures, either kacha houses or even pakka houses that you see in such areas, they are known as vernacular buildings. Vernacular means local. So this is a type of architecture where the locally available material is used. And there are many states in India which use mud as the primary building material for vernacular architecture. Examples such as Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, even Leh and Ladakh, the Banga houses of Kutch and Bhuj region of Gujarat, and so many others are, important examples which tell us how versatile of a material is mud or clay. So buildings made with mud are primarily uh, very strong and they can endure for many years. They, of course, require maintenance and upkeep regularly, but they can have a very long life if the process is done very carefully or at a regular interval. Using mud and clay in buildings is a very good option for warm or hot places because this is a material that keeps the inner environment very cool as it is an insulatory material. It does not conduct any form of heat. That is why, it keeps the environment cool. So it is very good material for warm places, for hot places. Soil and especially clay has a very good thermal mass. It is very good at keeping temperatures at a constant level. That is why homes built with earth tend to be naturally cool in summer heat and warm in cold weather. So this is a good material option. Now let's see what all we can make with mud. When I talk about mud as a building material, your first thought will be that mud is used only in like huts in rural dwellings. So can we use mud as a building material in the cities? In modern day cities, can we use mud? So these are some examples where you can see how contemporary buildings, the buildings of today's time, are being made using mud as the primary building material. In both these images, in one you can see the exterior, there you can see entirety of mud plaster all over the building, and how creative the design is because the buildings that you're making with concrete, they're all like, just cube or cuboidal boxes. But here the building design and shape is also so versatile because mud is a very flexible material. In the second image, you can see how mud has been used in the walls, mud bricks. You can see that mud tiles are used in the ceiling, even the flooring is mud. And mud is seen as a versatile material that can be used for almost all the parts of a building. This is another example of a bungalow that is made with mud. There are bricks that are available nowadays known as SMB bricks, stabilized mud bricks. This was also related to a question that was asked in 2022 NATA about SMB bricks. So you need to know the full form and the function of these bricks as well. This is a good alternative. And these bricks can be used for constructing different types of buildings. These are another examples of construction with mud. And Revati Kamat is one Indian architect who has done very good work with mud. She has designed multiple buildings, bungalows, restaurants, even offices that were made in mud. So you can check her work. Now we'll go to the next building material. This is also a natural material. We're talking about wood. And wood is also a common material that you have seen that was used in multiple places. It is a natural building material used for dwellings for thousands of years. Even you can find the use of wood in the oldest of temples, in the European churches, and even in palaces. Padmanabhapuram Palace is a very good example of complete wooden construction that is found in India. So Padmanabhapuram Palace, most of it is of course made with timber. Only some parts like the foundation, they have been created using a locally available stone, that is laterite stone, because foundation needs to be extra strong to keep, endure the weight or load of such a large palace. And for the roofing, they have used clay tiles. But apart from that, every single part of the palace is made with timber. So you can understand that timber is also a very strong material and it is suitable for certain kind of places. Now, what are these places? It is one of the best materials to be used in extremely cold areas, and it is also a good material to be used in humid areas where the humidity is way more. Wood is an aesthetically pleasing material. It never goes out of trend and it is always considered as a very classic material. The only problem with wood is that it can decay with time because of the effect of either water or moisture or by the attack of insects or termites. So you have to treat wood very carefully before you use it for construction, and even after construction, you have to maintain wood for years regularly so that it stays in shape. And we have seen many other examples apart from Padmanapuram Palace as well. But I specifically mentioned that because the question related to the material of Padmanapuram Palace has been asked in both NATA and JEE multiple times, at least 4 to 5 times. This question has come in both the papers over years. Another very good example of wooden construction from old India is the Hidimba Devi temple, which is present very close to Manali in Himachal Pradesh. And similarly, there are many other wooden buildings, big and small, that are made with wood that you can understand. Apart from making complete buildings, timber, which is the live part of some trees, is used for many other things. It is used for making wooden rafters that can support the roofing. It is made to construct the entire structure for homes. It is for buildings, and it can be used for making a complete building as well. It can be used as a material for interior treatments, for in the place of laminates, or to cover section of indoor area for wall. It can also be used for flooring. Even in the staircase, it can be used. It can be used for making window frames, door frames, decorative items, staircase handrails, boundary walls, kiosks, furniture, and so much more. So you can understand that wood is a very versatile building material. And these days, we are not using real wood so much because there are so many other alternatives like MDF board, and there's plywood, and there's so many laminates that look exactly like wood, which are also much cheaper. That is why wood is slightly being replaced with these new synthetic materials. But still, real wood will be a timeless building material. This is a good example of what other usage of wood can be done. So this is known as scaffolding, where you create these molds when concrete is being cast. So for scaffolding also, a lower quality of wood is used. Then another building material is bamboo. This is also a natural building material. And although we see good examples of bamboo structures across the world, in places where bamboo is available in abundance, for example, Indonesia, but bamboo is also material that is used to create decorative elements, installations, pavilions, and these beautiful corridors, and so many other creative things, because bamboo is a very flexible and versatile material that can be used for making a lot of different things. So here you can see some installation of bamboo is there. Then bamboo has been used as a aesthetic material, aesthetic element in front of a building facade to give it a different kind of look, where the building, although it is made with glass and steel, but these wooden structures where where this plantation is done, that is adding a very unique element to the building. Here you can see a bamboo pavilion. Here you can see a cafe that is entirely designed with bamboo. Everything from furniture to the lamps to these columns and sheds, everything made in bamboo. You can see that bamboo is such a flexible material as well. It can be folded so easily, and there are different varieties of bamboo that are available in different parts of the world, and each of them have different qualities. Some of them are actually quite stiff, and others are very flexible. You can see another pavilion that has been designed by bamboo, a pathway, a cabin. So these are some examples. Now we will go to a synthetic material, that is glass. So glass is also a very old material. We look at glass as a very new material in the market, and we think about glass as something that is very, modern or new. But glass making was a very ancient practice. It was like an art form. So glass making was considered an art form in the old world because making glass was extremely difficult. It was a very slow process, and it took a lot of time. So people could not afford glass very easily. So what happened was that it was a very slow process, and only the highest class of the society could afford glass. So we can see that glass was used in the old European churches and palaces only. But after Industrial Revolution, when glass became a very popular building material, Then we started using glass in abundance, and now you can see glass being used in every home, in high-rise buildings, in skyscrapers, everywhere, because now we have factory-made glass that is very quick and easy to make, which is available in abundance. Okay, I can see that there is a question in the live chat. Is shisham counted as hardwood? Yes, of course. Shisham is actually a very high quality wood that is used for construction of various parts of building. It is also used for construction of some uh, top class furniture as well, most elegant kind of beds and all. Shisham is a very strong building material, very good quality wood that has been used in building construction for generations. So let's come back to glass. Now you can see that glass is used in building facades, in windows, and many different parts of a building. Even partition walls are made with glass. Now we also have swimming pools, infinity pools that are made with glass. So you can see that so much experimentation has been done with glass, and we have different grades and variety of glass available in the market that can be used for different purposes. For example, the glass that you see in your homes, in your windows, is not the same glass that you see in the facade of Burj Khalifa. That glass is very strong. That is a very different grade and quality of glass because that has to go through a lot of pressure. That has to endure a lot of pressure because that glass is going to be fixed at a much higher, altitude. So the quality of glass may vary. Then there is textured glass, there is glazed glass, which is colored glass, lacquered glass. So many different types of glasses are there, and they can be used for different purposes, from building facades to windows to automatic doors, fountains, and swimming pools, then decorative glass that can be used for creating chandeliers, light bulbs, etc. These days, glass is also being used as partition or in furniture, and it has been used as doors and windows for many years now. That tells you how glass is also being experimented with a lot. Next building material is a rock, and this is also natural material. You all know that rocks are of three types. Three natural rocks are there that we get from the nature. Can you name these three types of rocks in the comments? We all have studied this topic in school in our geography lessons. So you all might be knowing what are the three types of rocks. I want to see your answers in the comments. Now, from these three different types of rocks, we get a variety of stones. And different types of stones are available in different regions of the world depending on the climate and the geographical condition. So whatever kind of stone that we get in the region, we have seen that throughout history, people have constructed structures using those stones. One of the most common type of stone that is used in construction in historic buildings of India is sandstone. And you have different types of sandstone. There's red sandstone, brown, pink sandstone, there's black sandstone. So different variety of sandstones are also there. Apart from that, marble, granite, limestone. These are also some other common type of stones that are used in construction industry. So it is one of the most durable and the strongest building material since throughout history. And you can see that some of the most famous old monuments, the temples, be it churches, be it palaces, or any other old historic building, most of them were made with stone. And since they were made with stone, they could endure the test of time and they are still stable structures even after hundreds or thousands of years. And stone is also one of the earliest materials that was used in construction. When early men first started building their homes, they experimented with locally available stone as the first material to, construct their earliest kind of sheds or whatever experimentation they were doing. Because huts came much later on. Earlier, they were just making like sheds where they could just hide and protect themselves. So stone goes that long ago as a building material. It has a very good quality. It also keeps the inner environment cool, just like mud. It does not absorb heat very quickly. That is why you will see that even in the hottest of places like Rajasthan, Stone is used as a building material in places like Agra, Delhi, and all across the world. In fact, in the hottest of places, you will find stone being used because stone does not absorb heat so easily. It remains cool for a longer period of time. It does not change its temperature very easily, and hence it keeps the inner environment cool. So stone is also a very versatile material, and it is one such material that can be used from the foundation of the building to the roof. Each and every part of a building, of a structure, can be made using stone without using any other extra material. And you have seen so many such examples in the historic monuments, be it any fort or any temple. Stone in the current time, in the contemporary world, is used as a building material. Most of the usage of stone can be seen in flooring. Different types of stones are sometimes used for flooring, for pavements, even for making roads for that matter. Stone can be used. Stone is also a very good decorative material that is used in interiors. It can be used in the form of stone tiles for roofing. It can be used to make boundary walls. And if you look at the palaces in India or the castles in Europe, you will find stone as one common material throughout the globe. Only the variety of stone might differ depending on what kind of stone is present in the region. Now, this is a very good example of construction, uh, contemporary construction, where stone, which is a natural material, that has been experimented with and it has been used with uh, man-made materials like aluminium, like glass, and they have been mixed to make a building that is appropriate for the new age. Here you can see the rubble stone masonry. So stone masonry is of two, three types, and the construction that we do with stone using stone is known as masonry. Another type of construction using another material uh, is also known as masonry, that is bricks. So the kind of construction that we do either with brick or stone is called masonry. And this is the question that has been asked multiple times in JEE and NATA, that what is the type of what is the construction called, technique called, that is done using brick or stone. So the answer will be masonry. So brick is a common building material that is being used currently. Red clay bricks are the most common, but slowly they are being replaced by fly ash bricks and other type of bricks that are made from waste materials coming from industry. So now our red clay brick has a lot of competition. Earlier, people thought that red clay brick was a very eco-friendly material, but the myth has been busted. And red clay brick is not that eco-friendly after all. It also has some negative impact, although small, but some amount of negative impact on the environment. But red clay brick has also been used in some of the earliest temples. The composition of those clay bricks was slightly different than what we get in the modular brick now. A very common question in NATA exam is the size of modular bricks. So you must know the size of modular bricks. If the mortar is also considered, then it is 200 by 100 by 100 mm. If the mortar is not considered, then it is 190 by 19 by 19. Sorry, 190 by 9 by 9. So you need to know that the standard size of bricks and the kind of construction that can be done with bricks. You need to know some famous buildings or some examples of brick structures, because all these different kind of questions can be expected in the exam. And some of the earliest temples like the Bhitargaon temple that is present in northern India. It is a 4th, 5th century temple made with brick. Then the Lakshman temple in Sirpur, that was a 7th century all brick temple. All of these famous buildings, famous monuments are there that were made completely with brick. Then a famous Indian architect who has worked a lot with brick is Laurie Baker, and most of his works can be seen in Kerala and Sri Lanka, where he used brick as a low cost housing material and tried to provide good housing or good architecture to all classes of the society. So Laurie Baker's work is really astonishing. You must read about it, and you must try to find out some famous buildings designed by this architect. And I'll show you some examples of brick structures. Here you can see that brick is not only used to make walls, it can also be used for making flooring. Brick has also been used in multiple ways. For example, you will see some buildings with plaster. The building is made with brick, but there is a finish that is added. so that the brick is not seen. And there are some other buildings which are called exposed brick buildings, like this one, where the brick is pointed very nicely, proper finishing is given to bricks, and no plaster is added. So here you can see brick in its original character, and a very beautiful building has been designed using brick as a material. Here you can see how it can be used in pathways or passages in your garden or in a smaller area. And it is also used as a very nice interior material nowadays in cafes, restaurants especially, and even in some houses. Last, one of the last few materials that I want to discuss with you in this live session is metal. And there are a variety of metals that are used in building construction. Some of the most common ones I'll be discussing now. One of the most famous and common one is steel or mild steel. In last year's NATA, a picture was given and you had to identify the building material. That picture was of a sheet, flooring sheet basically, that was made with mild steel. And mild steel is very easy to identify by looking at the picture. Please Google it so that you can look at the image. So these type of questions are being asked in NATA recently, where they will show you images of building material and you have to identify it. So steel is a metallic alloy. Of course, we also got this after Industrial Revolution, but nowadays it has become a very irreplaceable building material, and it is used in TMT bars or structural rebars to strengthen the building. Some other metallic alloys are aluminium or tin that are used in construction of buildings. So steel is used actually as a companion with concrete. So when we mix concrete and steel, it gives us RCC. Before I tell you more about RCC, I want to tell you about the new batches that we are starting at our institute. These are hybrid crash batches, and the admissions are already open. Some of these batches are going to start very soon. So you can see two numbers on your screen. You can either call or WhatsApp on these numbers, and you can join our classes. So like right now, we are understanding this topic in a short form. We discuss these topics to a great extent with great depth in our 1.5 hour classes. And we also clear your doubts and give you um, solutions to your problems as well. We also do mock tests in these classes. So it would be really beneficial for you all to join these. Coming back to RCC, RCC is used as a building material that provides strength in frame structures. So frame structures are the kind of structures that we see nowadays in our buildings, where a frame is constructed and the entire load transfer happens through these frames. And the major parts of these frames are the slab, the columns, the foundation, and the beams. So many questions are asked for these structural materials as well. The simplest question that I saw in last year's JEE paper was that these four terms were given and you had to organize them, arrange them in the descending order, meaning from top to bottom, which is the topmost part and the bottommost part. So in that manner, if you say, then it is slab, beam, column, and then foundation. The question can also come vice versa. Another structural part of the building is lintel. So that comes in between the sill and the slab. So you can see that nowadays steel is being used in so many ways in buildings in form of structural rebars and in the form of different types of sheets. Even the screws, the nuts and bolts that are used in building construction are made with steel nowadays. Many different types of fittings, be it sanitary fittings or something else, they are also made with steel. And it is a very common material that is being used nowadays. Okay, I can see that there is another question in the live chat. What would be the correct answer to which of the following is a hardwood used for making furniture? Shisham or rosewood or acacia? Shisham. Shisham will be the right answer here. Okay, so with this, we will be moving to our last material for this live session. This material will be concrete. So concrete is a mix of some materials. It is not a single material, but it is a combination of cement, sand, gravel, and water. If I talk about the current context, but if you talk about historical monuments, then at that time there was no cement. So then it was lime, sand. In place of gravel, there was surkhi. Surkhi is the small particles of brick, red clay brick, and water. So this was a composition that was used in historic monuments. Nowadays, we use cement concrete. Plain cement concrete is PCC, which has cement, sand, gravel, and water. When we mix this PCC with iron bars, when we are making any column or foundation or beam, what we do is we make a scaffolding. Like I showed you when I was telling you about wood, we make a scaffolding. We tie iron or steel bars at the center and then we pour PCC over it. So when these rebars and the PCC gets mixed, it creates immense strength in these frame structures, in these parts of the frame structure. And it gives you both the tensile strength that is coming from iron or steel, and it gives you the compressive strength that is coming from concrete. And both of them mix to make a very stable structure. So concrete is a very important building material now, but it has also been used historically. For example, there were architects who were following the modern style of architecture, like Charles Correa or like Le Corbusier or even F.L. Wright. All of them were using concrete as a common building material to make their buildings. So when you look at the buildings in Capitol Complex in Chandigarh that were designed by Le Corbusier, they are all exposed concrete buildings because you can see that grayish or off-white tinge in their buildings, in the color of their walls. So it was a common material used by these architectural legends as well, who were following the modern style of architecture. And actually, concrete became a very common building material in that period only. Nowadays, concrete is also used in most types of buildings, and it can be used in making all the parts of a building. Apart from that, it is used in making retaining walls. It is often used in making flooring for certain areas. Here you can see in the last picture, colored concrete flooring that has been done in one of the halls of a building. So you can see that it is a versatile material. It is used in interiors, building exteriors, and so much more in different kinds of structures and places. So you need to know the character of each of these building materials. You should be able to identify different building materials by looking at their images, and you should also know some famous buildings that have been designed using these building materials. So that if question comes, like sometimes we have seen questions where a picture of a building material will be shown on your screen and you have to identify what, like in this famous building, which building material has been used. And you have to identify the famous building either or the building material that has been used in that famous building. So such type of questions also come. Sometimes the question directly asks that which building material has been used to design so and so part of this building, or which building material has been used to for the cladding of this building, or which is the building material used in the roof of this building. These type of questions are very common. Such questions have been asked for Victoria Memorial, like what cladding material. So the answer was marble. Such questions have been asked about Sydney Opera House for the unique shell roof. Question about Lotus Temple again because of the unique structure. So you should be prepared about such questions because these are being asked very commonly in both NATA and JEE. And I hope that this live session was informative. You got to know something new in this session, and you also got an idea what kind of questions are being asked recently in the recent times in the last 1 year for this particular topic in both JEE and NATA. So I hope that this was fruitful. Please go back and read about more building materials. There's so many more and so many new ones nowadays. And with every passing week or passing month, I can say new building material is introduced in the market. So read more and more, expand your knowledge. And I hope this topic will help you for your upcoming exam. With that, I'll be signing off. I am architect Nishitha Joshi, and I hope that I could teach something new to you in this live session. Let's meet again soon.